Howdy guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about how to aim your pistol. So in order to do that, let's do first things first. So I want to make sure we need to make sure that our body is squared up, or our body is pointed at the target. If you'll look at any MMA fighters, jiu-jitsu or whatnot, they're not trying to fight somebody from the side. We're always trying to square up, square our hips, square our shoulders, in order to get the most power and the most efficiency from right there. A lot of times too, when you're fighting with somebody or whatnot, you'll try to work different angles or circle around and try to get somebody to the side or to the back. But nonetheless, shooting's the same way, guys. Same thing as fighting, we just have a gun in our hands. I want to make sure that my hips and my shoulders are square up with the target that I am intended to shoot. So let's set ourselves up for success from the get-go, making sure our hips and our shoulders are lined up. How I orient my feet is a little bit different than most people, but it's the same stance that I use in Muay Thai, it's the same stance that I use in Jiu-Jitsu, it's the same stance that I use that I shoot a gun with. So my left foot is in front of my right. And my feet are about shoulder width apart, but my left is significantly further in front of my right. And I will actually load, when I'm shooting, I'll load my front leg a little bit more than I do when I'm training on the mats or whatnot. But so nonetheless, square shoulders, square hips. Now guys, I want to talk with y'all about pistol sights. Essentially what pistol sights are is they just confirm that the gun is pointed at what we intend to shoot at. So the thing is though is that we're trying to line up three things, right? So we got our target, our front sight, and our rear sight. But the brain can only focus on one thing at a time. So we can either do a task, if we're trying to do two tasks at the same time, we can do one task 40% or another task 60%. Or the brain can also stack tasks. What that means is I have done something so many times that I'm performing that task subconsciously while consciously I'm doing something else. So a good example of that, of stacking tasks, my mother is a lifelong music teacher and pianist. And I remember when I was a little kid at the church, as she was playing the piano, as the patrons or the congregation was leaving, I would go up into her area where she was playing the piano. While she was still playing her piece, wouldn't miss a beat. We would then have a conversation or whatnot. But the thing was that she was a professional. She had done that so many times. She was consciously talking to me by subconsciously playing the piano. We can do that with certain things with pistols, but let's talk about the brain and trying to do two tasks at once. So going off of that, we're trying to line up three things. If the brain can only focus on one thing at a time, then if we're trying to line up three things, two are going to be blurry, one's going to be clear. All right. So what I like to say, and a lot of other high-level instructors, we are going to focus on that front sight. That front sight is going to be clear. So what I want to do is I want to treat that rear sight as a window. So we're looking through that window to pick up that front sight and making sure that's aimed. So what I like to tell people is we're going to put the top of the front sight on the center of our target. We are going to align the rear sights up with our front sight, so we're looking through that window. And another reason why I like to why we push out with our pistol is if I'm treating that rear sight as a window, in order to reduce my margin of error, I want to look through as small of a window as possible. So if I keep that gun up close to my eye, that rear sight is now a huge window. I have a huge margin of error. But as that rear sight gets continued to push away from my face, that window gets smaller. That margin of error between the rear sight notch and the front sight gets smaller. So top of the front sight on the center of whatever we are trying to shoot. Line the rear sights up with the front sight, and so we're going to be level. Top of the front sight level with the top of the rear sight level, and equal. There's also an equal amount of daylight as we're looking through that rear sight. A lot of times you'll also hear people that say equal height, equal light, level and equal. It's all the same thing. Remember, our target's going to be blurry, our rear sight's going to be blurry, our front sight's going to be in focus. You'll probably ask, hey, how in focus should it be? Well, our thumbs have ridges on them, natural ridges, so if you actually stick your thumb out in front of your face, focus on that front sight as intently as you would that to where you can see those ridges on your thumbs. Like I said, that front sight's going to be a little, or that target's going to be a little bit blurry, but we want to do our best job of putting that front sight in the middle of our target. So as we back up, it's going to get a little bit blurrier, but just remember the alignment of our sights is significantly more important than sight picture. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm hoping this might have helped you a little bit understand how sights work, how you can set yourself up for success. Guys, remember, we always have to reference our sights when we are shooting. I'm not advocating point shooting at all. I like to say that unsighted fire is negligent, especially as citizens. We are held to a higher standard than police. We are responsible for every round that comes out of that gun, so we need to make sure that round is going to go into its intended target. So know your target. That's one of the 4 rules. Understand your target, know what's in front and what's behind. I want every single round to go into that target and stay into that target. So thank you guys again for watching. If you enjoyed the content, click like and subscribe. We would appreciate it. Comments, put them below. If you got any questions, try to get those answered. It's just basics, guys. We're going to square ourselves up and then use our sights. So top of the front sight on the target, level and equal. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.